Hi, welcome everybody to my video lecture on performance appraisal series. This is episode 4. In this episode, we are going to discuss about some of the performance appraisal methods. In the previous video or in the previous episode, we have discussed about individual evaluation methods. Today, we are going to talk about multiple person evaluation methods. In multiple person evaluation method, here the evaluation will be done, or the techniques of evaluating one employee in comparison to another employee. Many methods are there. Today we will be focusing on few methods under multiple person evaluation methods. Very prominent method under this category is, any guess can you make based on the series what I have mentioned there? Yes, it is a ranking method. Okay, under this method, the ranking of an employee in a work group is done against that of another employee based on their job performance, which mean to say here the rating is done based on the comparison. They will compare one employee with another employee in a same job description. Though it is relatively easier to rank the best and worst employee, it is very difficult to rank the average employees, because worst and best employee can be easily identified, whereas the people those who are average in work, it will be very difficult for the immediate supervisor to rank them. Generally, evaluators pick the top and bottom employees first, and then the next highest and the next lowest, and move towards the average or say middle employees. So, even though it is very prominent or say very common in the organization, it has its own limitation. Some of the major limitations of this ranking method, is that, say the whole man is compared with another whole man. Okay, it is very difficult to compare individual possessing varied behavioral traits. Okay, one may be good in one and another may be good in another trait, so we cannot compare these two employees and come to a conclusion who is best. It does not tell about how better or how much worse, so that is very difficult in it. And another very important limitation is, when a large number of employees are working, ranking of individuals becomes a very vexing issue to the immediate supervisor. And another very important drawback of this method is that the magnitude of who is best or who is worst. For example, say if they determine a score of 1000, say one is getting say 990, another one is getting 980, and say another one is getting 979. When you rank, the difference between first employee and second employee may be 10 scores will be different, whereas the third employee and the second employee, the difference will be only one score. So the magnitude of difference we cannot take between the employees as equal. So there is another difficulty is there. In order to overcome this ranking method, they have derived another method. It is called paired comparison method. Paired comparison method. So here, for each trait, you pair and compare every subordinate with every other subordinates. So you will be having a list of traits. Say you are taking one trait, for example, say quality of work, or say quantity of work, or say the rapport with their colleagues, or say the rapport with their subordinates. You are taking one trait and you are going to compare each employee with another employee in the same trait category. Okay, I will show you an example. Just it will look like a chart. Say you see I am going with a chart. So say when there are 5 employees to be compared, then A's performance is compared with that of B's, and decision is arrived at as to who is better or worse. Then next B is also compared with all others. Since A is already compared with B, this time B is to be compared with only C, D, sorry, hold on. Check the tool. Okay. As already A is compared with B, this time A will be compared with C, D and E, not with B. Able to understand? When there are 5 employees, 10 decisions are to be made. Okay. Have a closer look at this chart. Okay. So one side you are taking quantity of work. Okay. You are taking quantity of work here. This side you are taking quantity of work. So another side you are taking these are the set of employees A, B, C, D, E. You are going to compare each employee with one another. The shaded box over here, the shades, okay, it says we cannot compare here. A you have shaded here because A and A cannot be compared. Similarly, B and B cannot be compared, and so on, so forth. Okay. So now what I am going to do, I am going to take A and compared with B. Okay, A compared with, I am going to take A and I am going to compare with B in terms of what? In terms of quantity of work. So if you look here it represents a positive sign, which means A is superior in performance than B in terms of quantity of work. So I have given a positive sign. When I compare A with C, when I am comparing A with C, A is not superior, or say C is superior, so I am giving negative sign to A here. Okay, if you notice there is a minus symbol is there. Like that, I am going to compare each and every employee in some category. Take a minute, observe the chart and come to a conclusion who is best in terms of quantity of work. Take a minute, observe the chart. It is very easy, right? By looking into the positive sign, you have to say, right? Okay, you have to see column wise, right? You have to see column wise, this side. Just have a look into it. You got the answer? Yes, absolutely. In the diagram, employee C, that is why I have highlighted that in the green color, C. Okay, so C has most positive plus signs and he will be receiving the more incentives comparatively. Okay, and then you can see who can come next and all. Okay, so this method is an advancement of the ranking method. Okay, going to the next method, in the next method it is called as forced choice distribution method. So that there are controversies to what extent it is good, to what extent it is not good, or say right or wrong. Okay, because here the rater or say appraisee is forced to appraise the employee according to a predetermined distribution scale. Okay, if you look into the previous methods, one common error in evaluating employees, whether it is in ranking or in most of the methods, they rank the employee mostly near to a certain level. Okay, all fall under a very or say in a common category. So it will be very difficult for the top management to make somebody to promote or say to give higher incentive or whatever it is. So in order to overcome those kind of difficulties, they came with another method say forced distribution method. Okay, here the forced distribution method tries to overcome this problem by assuming that employees' performance would follow statistical norms and be distributive, or say distributed more evenly. Okay, I think you are able to cope up with this, right? So already there will be a predetermined distribution scale will be there, where the appraiser will be posting the employees under certain categories. So if you look into this chart, say one side there are number of employees are there. If you notice, there are number of employees are there. So they have distributed under a bell-shaped curve right over here. So this 10, 20, 40 need not be same in every organization. It may vary. In some category, the average may be 70, okay, and then below average may be 10. So there may be a split up may be there. So usually the employees will be following under the given 5 areas. So I will show you another chart so that you can better understand. So what does it mean? So if you look here, see, say if the employees are forced under this category, you can see, as I have told you in the previous chart, 10, 20, 40, 20, 10. Okay, so you got it right. So as I have told you already here, say 10% fall in this category, poor, which mean to say these employees need to be fired or say removed from the organization. Say then below average, so no bonus need to be provided to them. In the previous slide, if you see, I have given 20% as below average. Say 40% were falling under the average category. So 10% of bonus can be provided. 20% fall under this category, so 20% of bonus can be provided, and the remaining were the excellent. Say, as I have told you in the previous slide, so they were 10% falls in this category, so bonus can be provided. So if you look into the another one here, say a thick line which says, so there some people need to be removed, or else those people should avoid getting fired, or they have to strive more to not to get fired. Okay, if you look into this lighter arrow this side, so they are trying to move to the top position, or they are trying to get promoted. Okay, able to understand? I will give you another graph also, you can see here. So if you can see here, yes, you can understand, right? Okay, see here, so low 10% need to be coached, or they are subject to termination. And if you look into this side, so you have to provide more bonus, or they were in the line with the promotions, right? Understand? And then some moderate performer are there. So based on the inflation, moderate raise you can given, okay, often match according to the inflationary rate of the nation, it can be given. That is why I told it need not be always 10, 20, 40, 20, 10. Okay, as I have told you, this is 10 and 20, 40, 20, 10. It need not be. If you look into the that bell curve which is represented at the bottom, you can see 10%, 70%, 20%, even it can be like that. Okay, so these are the few methods which fall under the multiple evaluation methods. Some more methods are there. Let me explain you few methods, some other methods. One such method is group appraisal methods. Okay, the major drawback of the previous methods are the biasness. The personal bias may be there from the supervisor. Okay, as I have told in the episode 3, there can be a sycophants who may be favoring the immediate supervisor, or say immediate superior, where they can get a marginal advantage over the other colleague. Okay, so in order to avoid that, they can go for group appraisal method. Okay, here the employee is appraised by a group of appraisers. That is why I have represented this small diagram over here for better understanding. So here only one appraisee is there, but there are plenty number of appraisers are there. okay, which is completely different with the previous methods, right? So what does it represent? So here, okay, good. So I will come to the content bit late. Okay, sorry for other methods, right? So what is the advantage here? Okay, who are all will be the appraisers here, or the team consists of whom? Okay, it consists of, for sure, immediate supervisor of the employee will be there, maybe other supervisors who have close contact with the employee's work. Okay, maybe one, the team which is preceding this employee and the team which is succeeding this employee. Okay, supervisors from that team may be there, a manager or the department head may be there, consultants may be there. And who will lead the team? Usually the manager or the department head will act as the chairman of the group. Immediate supervisor will coordinate the entire activities of this group. Okay, so the immediate supervisor enlightens the other members of the group about this particular employee's job characteristics, what is the demand expected from him, or say what is expected from him, what are the standards of performance you are going to measure with. So all these will be explained by the immediate supervisor to the other members of this particular evaluating team. So what is the advantage of this particular method is that to a larger extent the performance is evaluated by multiple raters. So this method eliminates personal bias. Okay, so there is no chance of having a personal bias to a greater extent. Okay, but there is a bit of limitation is there, as many need to appraise a single employee. It is a very time consuming process. Okay, and it is expensive also. Okay, going to the another method, it is human resource accounting, or in short it is called as HRA. Okay, HRA. It tries to place a value on organizational human resources as assets and not as expenses. Okay, what does this method do actually? This process shows the investment the organization makes in its people and how the value of these people changes over time. For example, say when an organization is providing training to an employee, the employee value gets increased. You understand what I am telling? I hope so. Okay, the employee who doesn't undergo training having is have or do have less value than an employee who undergone a training program. So here the expectation from an employee who went for training will be higher than the person who didn't went for the training. Okay, so here the real cost will be calculated, how much the employee spends for an how much the organization spends for an employee. So all the cost spent for an employee will be taken to consideration while appraising him. Okay, so that will be compared to the employee in terms of revenue what he is going to generate to the organization. So real cost is there. In if you take some organization, the oldest method, they will take wage, I am spending this much, how much you are going to give. But in the modern day context, if you see here, so $2.78 is spent by the organization for supervision and administration, and $3.58 is spent for office space as well as equipment what you have used, and $1.66 spent for hiring, training, etc., and another 4.11 for benefit what they have provided, and 1.43 for tax and insurance. If you sum up all those expenses together along with the wage, it comes around $25.55 per hour. So all these will be considered as an cost what the organization spent for an employee. So in turn, what he is able to provide to the organization if we work for an hour. Okay, I will come up with another chart for you. There you can better understand. Suppose if an organization is spending say $25.55 per hour, how much this guy have to give to the organization in return. So this is another chart you may understand. So how usually they will do the rating. Okay, the rating will be done. Suppose say if the employee is able to provide say 100 percentage. Okay, if you read on the top percentage of surplus or deficit, it says, okay, so say if he is providing yeah, say if you look here, say 100, if his output say 100 to 150%, then you cannot say he is a topper or say he is performing extremely good, but the organization will say you are slightly a good performer. Able to understand? So you may be falling in the forced distribution, you may be falling in the mid category or say average. Okay, so to be the top performer, suppose the organization is spending $25, you have to generate over 200 percentage. You have to double it. Okay, able to understand what I am telling? So some categories are given here. If you read, you can understand. So this technique is not developed fully, it is still in the transitionary stage. Another method, especially when they go for promotion or when they want to elevate the employee to the higher level, or when they want to understand what type of training is need to be provided, there is another method is that it is called assessment center. Okay, in this approach, individuals from various departments are brought together to spend 2 or 3 days working on an individual or group assignments similar to the ones what they will be handling if they get promoted to a higher level. Okay, you understand what I am telling? People from different department come together, certain assignments will be given to them. Some assignments may be individual assignment, some may be the group assignment which they may have to perform when they get promoted. Okay, so here exercises are carried out in the presence of trained observers. Okay, all will be doing an exercise in one place. They will be observed by a trained people, so who through a continuing exchange of view they will be able to understand or they will be able to create a picture of each candidates. Usually what are all the categories will be there: social skills, intellectual skills, and then attitudes, their likes and dislikes, everything will be noted down here. Okay, so in order to carry out this type of exercise, they have 3 parts in the assessment center. One, group activity will be there. It went off, sorry. Where we are, I think we are talking assessment center, right? Yes, good, almost we reached there. Okay, so there are 3 parts are there. One is group activity. Okay, how to understand how individual will react in a group situation. Another one is individual exercise to understand the personal traits of an employee. Another one is panel, one-to-one interview. Some of the common assessment center exercises are the employee need to give a presentation, group discussion will be there, panel interview will be there, role play will be there, intra exercises where some real-time business related scenario will be provided to them, accompanied by a list of related tasks including some reporting email, and solving some complaints, making some reports, attending some telephone calls, etc. So they will be analyzed how they are going to perform it. Okay, so the type of assessment center, to what extent it is helpful, it enables individual working in low status department to compete with the people from well known departments. That mean to say, in every organization, some department may have due recognition, some departments may not have, so they may get an equal chance here to get the promotion. Okay, okay. Here this will improve the morale of the promising candidates working in less important positions. Okay, coming to the last method over here, it is called field review method. Okay, this is an appraisal done by someone outside employee's own department. Usually the HR team will be there. Why this image I have represented here is that, like, if you see a employee is doing the job and one supervisor is there, maybe say you consider him as an HR, so he is making note of the performance of the employee in the real situation. Okay, where subjective performance measures are used here, there is a scope for raters bias influencing the evaluation process. So to avoid this, some employers use the field review method. In this method, a trained, skilled representative of the HR department goes directly into the field, assists the line supervisors with the ratings of their concerned subordinates. Okay, so the HR specialist request the immediate supervisor specific information about the employee's performance. So based on that particular information, what they receive from the immediate supervisor, the experts prepare a report which is sent to the supervisor for review or any changes or further for further approval. It will be sent. Okay, so the ratings are done through some standardized forms. Okay, since an expert is handling this appraisal process in consultation with the supervisor, the ratings are considered to be more reliable here. These are some of the other methods. If you have time, you can look into some other methods. Some more important methods are there. I will show you some more important methods. BSc, balanced scorecard. It is a very important method. It's a growing method, and you can expect question from the university perspective. And 360-degree, where employees will be measured from all the from the supervisor or subordinates or the colleagues, etc. And then now 720-degree is there, where all stakeholders may appraise the employees of an organization, and then computer based performance appraisal methods are there. Okay, I hope this presentation will be useful to you. Meet you in another presentation. Okay, thank you.